The rain had just stopped, leaving the streets damp and shining like mirrors under the evening lights. Jack stood outside a small tea stall, his hands tucked deep into his pockets, except one of them was empty. He checked it again. Nothing. No coins, no notes. Just the faint warmth of his own hand and the cold realization settling in his chest. Across the stall, a kettle whistled loudly as steam curled into the air. The smell of fresh chai and fried pakoras filled the street. People gathered, laughing, talking, living their small, warm moments. Jack watched them quietly, his stomach tightening, not just from hunger, but from something deeper. He hadn't always had empty pockets. Just a year ago, he used to walk these same streets without thinking twice about money. His father had a steady job. Their home was small but full of laughter, and his mother's cooking made even ordinary days feel special. Back then, Jack never noticed how coins slipped easily from his pocket to buy tea, snacks, or even small gifts. But life had changed, quietly, suddenly, and completely. His father lost his job when the factory shut down. Weeks turned into months, and hope slowly turned into worry. The house grew quieter. His mother began counting every rupee before spending it. And Jack, he started noticing things he never had before, like empty pockets. A loud laugh from the tea stall pulled him back to the present. A group of boys his age were sitting together, sipping chai and joking about something trivial. For a moment, Jack considered walking away. He didn't belong there, not tonight. But then something made him stay. Maybe it was the warmth of the place. Maybe it was the simple human need not to feel alone. He stepped closer. The tea vendor noticed him immediately. "Chai?" he asked, already reaching for a cup. Jack hesitated. His fingers pressed against the empty pocket again, as if hoping something might magically appear. I don't have money," he said quietly. The vendor paused. For a brief moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Jack felt the familiar sting of embarrassment creeping up his neck. Then the vendor smiled. "Sit," he said, pouring the tea anyway. "You can pay another day." Jack blinked. "But what if I can't?" The man shrugged, placing the warm cup in front of him. "Then you don't. It's just tea." Jack took the cup slowly, the heat seeping into his cold hands. It wasn't just the tea, it was the kindness behind it that made something shift inside him. He sat down at the edge of the stall, quietly sipping. The boys nearby barely noticed him, and that was okay. For the first time that evening, he didn't feel like he was standing outside life, watching it happen to others. As he drank, his thoughts wandered. Maybe an empty pocket wasn't just about money. Maybe it was about what you thought you lacked. Because right now, despite having nothing to pay with, he had a warm cup of tea in his hands. He had a place to sit, and a stranger had shown him kindness without asking for anything in return. That had to count for something. The rain clouds slowly parted, revealing a faint glow of stars above. Jack looked up, then back at his empty pocket. It didn't feel as heavy anymore. In fact, it felt lighter, because he realized something simple, something he had never understood before. An empty pocket doesn't mean an empty life. It can be a beginning. Jack finished his tea and stood up. Before leaving, he looked at the vendor and said, "I'll come back. I'll pay you." The man nodded, smiling as if he already knew. Walking down the street, Jack didn't hide his hands in his pockets this time. He let them swing freely by his side. Tomorrow, he would look for work, any work. It didn't matter how small. He would help his family slowly, step by step, and one day he would return. Not just with money, but with a story of how an empty pocket taught him the value of everything that couldn't be bought. The streetlights flickered gently as he walked on. And for the first time in a long while, Jack wasn't thinking about what he didn't have. He was thinking about what he could become.